Okay. Hello. Really should have put these away first. Okay, is that holding on? It's holding on. That's good. Okay, I'm gonna need a gray and at least one of my browns. I forgot to go grab my paint stuff. I gotta go grab some paint and some brushes and a little thing of water. That would be pretty cute to put little Smurfs in this house. I mean, it's tiny enough. Okay, I gotta go get my paint. Hold on. Water mixing thing. Have anything in it? Okay. Sounds like it's either satisfying or frustrating. Okay, I'm gonna like water down some brown paint. I forgot the freaking brushes. Use a pipette for once. Usually I just use the brush to get the water, but I'm like, I should actually use a pipette. Yep, use some watered down brown for the... I'll try to make it sort of match the store, but it doesn't have to be close because I don't care that much. I still don't know if I'm gonna... I mean, I should. Maybe I should do that before. Yeah, maybe I should cut some of these first. How wide is that? More than that. Some scissors. cut a little thing to go along there, and then only attach it to one side. That is like, why do you have like 2 exams in a row? Do they just want you to suffer? Did they lose the other exams and they're like, okay, wait guys, take them again. We fucked up, y'all, lol. Eh. They did that at my high school too. They would have like all the exams and all the big presentations and stuff like in one or 2 weeks. Usually like right at the end of school. I was always like, literally why though? Like I know that you're trying to like make sure we've all learned whatever you were trying to teach us this whole year. However, you're making people prepare for several different things at once. And every single time you brought up that you had other things, the teachers were always like, that's not my problem. And it's like, yeah, I know, it's our problem. You made it our problem. I'll like tear this up a bit, try and make it look like it's... Later I'll try to paint it to look like it's all rusty and messed up. Like... Seems like it's kind of lower than this, so maybe I should put this on this side, and then when you put it back, that could get stuck. I guess I'll just do the thing where I put it in place and then cut it so it matches up again. That's the best I'm going to be able to do with this. Okay, so I will glue it to both sides, and then I'll just take a fresh knife and slice it down the middle. Where'd the other side go? There you are. The whole roof is made out of like cardboard. Like this is just like that kind of squiggly corrugated cardboard used in packing, and then this is just like from a box of ice cream pops. And I'm just cutting the little, I'm cutting the creases because they're already creased and they have like a little sort of bump on them. The inside is made out of just like little wooden sticks, like popsicle sticks and coffee stirrers. Oh, good. I'm glad it looks like corrugated sheet metal, because like I want it to look like a tin roof. I cut this side out of the wrong side, but I don't care. So I want to make it look like a tin roof on the little house. So I used this this cardboard I just happened to have that came from some kind of, what is this? I don't even know what this came from, but it's some sort of packing material. I mean, technically, yeah, I did eat all the ice creams and then I used the box. I did not get the ice creams with the specific purpose of making the box out of them. But I mean, if I was in a hurry, I totally just would have eaten them anyway. They were really good little ice creams. Make that a bit shorter, thinner, I mean. Put a little thing on the top to hide the seams. Or maybe I won't care. I don't know. Okay. Well, I have a couple things that I made. Like, I sewed this last night. It's supposed to look like a little bean bag. It's made out of some scrap fabric and just some, like, little pieces of scrap fabric inside. It's actually squishy. And I sewed a little piece of thread through here to make it look like it was sort of being sat in. And this is a tiny dartboard that I'm working on, made out of foam and paper. And they're very small, but I made some darts. Oh yeah, that could be cute. I'm trying to make it like a tree house. So it's not going to be... It's probably not going to have like a heating thing in it. Oops. But I want to put like... I want to make it look like a place where like kids would hang out. So I'm going to put like, you know, a dartboard because kid loves dangerous games. And a beanbag and some like... I cut out some little things to look like... Did I put that in here or did I fucking... Okay, no, good. I'm pretty happy with this. It's too small to focus on. It's a tiny book, and I'm gonna like, the camera won't even focus on it. Camera's like, no, it's too small, fuck you. Hard to see, but it's a tiny book, and I made it have pages, has actual pages, and I want to like, make it look like a book of horror stories. Oh yeah, one of those things. The thing that turns around with the wind, yeah. I can't remember what that's called right now. That would be cute. Here, to make sure I don't glue the whole roof together. I hope this will work, because I want it to match up and make it look like there are seams on the roof, but I want it to still be able to open up. Put that a bit too far down, whoops. Yeah, I mean, go for it. I probably shouldn't be encouraging kids to play games at school, but like, I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't, so... Except I was usually like, even back when I was on high school, phone games weren't super complicated. I mean, there were still some fun ones, like the early ones like Angry Birds and stuff like that everyone was playing. Most of the time I just played Flash games on the school's computers because I would finish all my stuff early and have nothing to do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm fine. For legal purposes, anything I say that may sound like a bad influence to minors is a joke. Remember, kids, punch a Nazi, fuck the cops. Oh yeah, man, back in high school, me and an old friend of mine, I hope he's doing well these days, we would just like bring interesting things we had to school and we would do little trades. Like if one of us had like a cool knife or something, we would go trade it for each other's cool knives. It was never stuff like drugs or anything like that. But it'd be like one of us had an old MP3 player and the other one would trade it for, some CDs or something. Not very commonly used these days, but I say that. Punch a Nazi. All cops are bastards. Kick a Republican in the nuts today. For legal purposes, this is a joke. Freaking Uno? Wow. Okay, I should let that dry a little bit. Okay, and I guess while I'm letting that dry, I can actually work on watering down the paint and then starting to color the wood. This wood on the bottom is kind of, this wood and this wood are kind of what I'm going for. I got these off of an old cigar box. Cigar boxes are a great source of thin, very nice wood. I freaking, back when I was in, like, middle school, you couldn't bring CDs to school or anything that was like a CD player or anything like that, so you would get in huge trouble for having a freaking CD. Because you might be hiding CDs and listening to music. Then later it was MP3 players, and now it's just phones. Nah, I don't smoke. I have too many health problems to give myself another health problem. Oh no. I didn't realize this had a hole in it? Where the hell is the hole? What? Literally. What? Wait, oh my god, is that actually carved through? Oh, okay. Fuck. I didn't realize there were holes in that. It looked like solid plastic. Just a sec. Yeah, it's paint. I have smoked hookah before, though. It's okay, but it gives me a headache. So I can only use, like, herbal shisha. I don't do it very often, though. Okay, new thing. Snack plate is all over the place. This is... Wow, everything's sticking to that. This is a boba milk tea flavored protein bar, or at least like the last fourth of it. It's actually really good. These are... a friend of a friend went to some place that has Buc-ee's. It's like that convenience store out east. And they have these things called beaver nuggets that are like these sweet, salty corn puff things. So that's what these little things are. This is a, I think like a peanut caramel dark chocolate thingy. This is a little strawberry cracker. This is some like trail mix stuff. Well, they're from like the bottom of a thing of trail mix. There's like dried cranberries, dried blueberries, white chocolate chips, and these little like chocolate coated crunchy things. Goodbye. And these are these really bouncy, chewy little gummy hearts that have like sugar coating on them. There's a freaking cat hair. Ew. I've probably eaten cat hair before, just, you know, living with cats, but okay. Should like actually eat that so it doesn't just start sticking to itself. So that's what's going on that mess. And a friend of mine gave me a cherry float cola. It's not as good as the old cherry vanilla cola, but it is very cherry, which is nice. It just doesn't have like enough vanilla cream flavor. Yeah. Bye, Nerdo. I hope school is not miserable. I'll just let that dry over here. Gotta remake my paint. Just gonna like, can I? Okay. Freaking cat hair. Okay. Oh my god. It's spring and it's warming up a little bit, so that means there's cat hair everywhere, even more than usual. Gross dry bits. Okay. Start with that. Yeah, I gotta be careful with the water because I don't want it to warp the boards. Oh, it has like an AR kind of thing, like how they got in Pokemon Go. Oh my god, the cat hair. Jesus Christ. And there's some spaces where there's glue that got all over the wood, so I'll probably have to repaint those later, but that's fine. For some reason, the first thing I thought was like, you could just like stand them on things, so you could just like put them in like a pot of boiling pasta or something. I don't know why I thought that. It's like, oh boy, my favorite little anime characters, torture them, cook and eat them. Tasty, tasty. Like all the jokes people made in PokeGo of like cooking Magikarp on a frying pan and stuff like that. There's a lot of glue there, so I'll probably have to go back over it. I'm gonna have to do a lot of weathering to this, which will be very fun. So there's a lot I can fix up later in weathering. heck, I got a lot of glue there. Wonder if I can, like, sand that off. Might be able to do that. Eh. So getting the right source. Add. Like, make sure that's, come on. Those freaking cosplayers. Oh my god. Hell yeah. There we go. I was just trying to get the border out. I love that they're doing a cosplay performance. I thought the audience was singing along. Fucking work it, Bucci. Peter Pan, you doing the theater group thing? I love how Mista's like fluorescent here. I love it when people use like the shiny trash bag material for JoJo outfits to like simulate the heavy shaded rendering. Yeah, let's get the whole gang in here. The Trish. It turned out pretty good. I love their choreography on this. They did a great job with that. Oh. Heck. Sorry. I'll just have to play that again.
Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
9 souls?
Espresso macchiato.
This is okay if I get some paint on there. Yeah, oh no, we have to watch it again. Whoopsies, my bad. And since I accidentally put this on the side with that, I'll have to weather that or do something about that. Well, that's fine. I like how she doesn't get it at first and then gets into it, because it's like that's like how it is in the manga. This is a really good one. I really admire the dedication of groups who can actually get a cosplay group together and go through with a full group cosplay and do a choreographed performance. Like, that is insanely hard. At least in my experience. No, I need just a little bit more to darken the side. I'll have to mix more for the inside anyway. Okay. Go. Oh, my head. Okay. 1 second. Sip my tea. Yeah, my tea is one made by forgot to mention this with snack things. It's a locally made blend called Abuelita's Brew, and it has green coffee beans in it. Drinking a high caffeine mix tonight because my head hurts. Caffeine really just helps me with my headaches and makes me tired, so it'll be fine. Mm. Is this not the new one? Or did I? Oh, I think I put the new one in this one. There we go. Okay, I'll have to put an extra fortifying glue in there. That's fine. Mm, mm. Oh, that one up. I need to. Slit. Yeah, the first favorite on FreeTube. We'll see if that cosplay group like does other cosplays. If they just do other funny things in their Part 5 JoJo cosplays. Very interesting. Looks really pretty. Aware of the mind. Oh, yo, nice. Didn't realize it was epic at first. Yeah, epical the music. That's what I was thinking.
I know you're watching me. Show yourself. I can see you.
How can you see through my spell?
I was lying, and you fell for my bluff.
Well done.
Oh, dang, it's like a full animation.
What's your name?
You first, and maybe I'll do the same.
Nice try, for two can play this game.
Nah, don't be modest. I know you're a goddess, so let's be honest. You are Athena. Athena.
Oh, that's a cool little clip. Yeah, it's really cool. Hilda's a really cool show. I should rewatch Hilda at some point. Hmm. While I let that dry, I can wash the inside. The vehicles are pretty awkward. Hmm. Just want to move the mic slightly farther away from my face. The crunchiness is too loud. I think I'll split that a bit. I'll probably paint the doorknob to look brass or something. I forgot the window frame for the inside. It's I already have this like blended, so I'll just wash the inside first, and then I'll do the little cardboard window frames. Shouldn't cause too much problem as long as I make sure that the wood is completely dry before I put those on. It's fine, it's fine. It's okay if I get a bit of paint on the window panes, so I'll just make it look dirty, which is fine because it's supposed to look old and abandoned. Fully drinked. Drink, drank, drunk. Oh, right. To put a little bit side. Freaking cat hair back there. You know what? That's fine. The cat hair can just be painted into that crease and be there forever. Cat is officially helping with this project. An integral part of the construction. Oh, that's okay if that breaks a bit. Just make it look more run down. Not in a very obvious spot, but still. I forgot to do it today, but maybe tomorrow I'll be able to melt down the styrofoam on the base outside because I want to use heat and or acetone. And then I'll be able to have the base, and I also have to drill into the wood to make a stable anchor for the tree. And the tree should be fine to work on in here because it'll just be like epoxy sculpt and then whatever else I have around. I have this old ass epoxy sculpt that is like going weird and I need to use it soon, so I might as well use it for a tree. So I don't have to worry about using it for anything with like delicate details on it. Oops. Seems like it's pretty well adhered onto there, so I probably don't have to put more glue there. It still fits up nice, right? Yeah, that fits up real nice. Okay. kind of wanting to make the inside a bit darker to make it look like it's shaded even when there's like something in it, but I'm also possibly like well, I see her. Where's this lady's pants? Because the link is huge. But I was playing with the idea of I'll breathe that a second. Maybe putting a light in here? Don't know if I will, though. Make sure this all dries right. I was thinking of possibly, like, drilling into... what the heck? Oh, the link went to a Steam game? Or, wait, did I just accidentally open Steam? What the heck? Why did that open? Oh, she's pretty. Yeah, don't know where her pants are. Interesting character design. The Return of the Fork. Okay, 9 souls, okay. Well, I mean, you have an anthropomorphic alien cat lady, of course the furries are going to be there. If there's any anthropomorphic animals, that's furries, baby! Okay. See, that still fits okay. Just gotta wait for that glue to settle. I was considering trying to figure out how to put a light into this, but I'm not sure I want to deal with it, because I was thinking maybe of like putting like a little, like a lantern on the floor, and it would have, you know, a hole drilled under it, and then a little like LED light going down through the tree, but I don't want to spend anything on this project. So I was like, do I have anything, like maybe a candle or something, like a little electric tea light, where I could like attach wires to the LED and then put the little switch behind the tree or something to turn on the light? I'm not sure though. I may look up some like tutorials on how to do that. So I guess for now I'm just gonna put more of this mixer on the bottom, and then I have to let this dry, and I have to make the window frames for the inside, right? Okay, I think the glue is dried enough to where it's not gonna glue itself to that. It's not like pulling out or anything, so that'll be good. Like when it's not, right? Okay, when I close it and open it again, the glue isn't like sticking and creating string, so that should be fine. I just want to make sure that this moisture from the water isn't like warping the wood too much. Oh no, the bottom looks like it's warping a little bit. Fuck. I'm gonna have to put something heavy on that. Like a block of beeswax or something that's pretty heavy. Okay. Just down there, it's but I wonder if I could like maybe we'll do that. Okay. God, I really gotta clean off my other desk. It's a mess. Okay, if I like put that over here and then put the heavy bottle of tacky glue right here, maybe that'll help push it down? I think that's doing it. Okay. Oh, dang. That sounds pretty hardcore. Okay, well that's drying and adjusting. I could work on more tiny bitty things. Like I need to put the little rings on the inside of the dartboard. Ew. I thought that was glue. Gross, gross. Okay, so I need to put like a tiny circle at the middle, and I should probably look for reference. I think they have just like the, wait, I don't actually know. Making coffee at 9 p.m. Fuck's anyone gonna do about it? Nothing, that's what. Sam, bro, cheers. It's, clink. It's wobbling now. Clink, cheers. It's tea with coffee in it, but you know, close enough. Caffeine just makes me tired. Well, caffeine itself can make me kind of jittery, but I never feel more alert or awake or anything. It never keeps me up. Usually after like a nice rich coffee or a richly caffeinated black tea or something, I just get so eepy. Oh, I should do something I've been forgetting to do for a while. Where is it? Did I put that? Oh, heck. There you are. I need to cut out another ghost, and I need to gently sand the one that I already have cut out. Okay, damn it. Trying to make sure I put this on a flat surface. Okay. I can sand this one, and I can cut out another ghost out of, where's that plastic I was using? Well, I don't know where that is, but I'm gonna get my really soft sanding sponge so I can make this slightly more opaque. And I want there to be two ghosts, because I want one ghost to be sitting on the beanbag chair, and I want this one to be like standing somewhere. Hold on. I realized that once again I forgot about the window frames, so I should like do those. Okay. Do I have one of my little some little pieces of cardboard on this very disorganized table that were like, the perfect size of the windows, but like 2 millimeters smaller. No, I'm glad you got a break. Okay, so I'm just gonna have to like remeasure the windows. Pencil. Coffee too strong. Café de leche. Maybe? They're all really good. Holding this up to the door window to see. I think that's about right. This cardboard is more similar to the color of cardboard I was using before. Although I'm going to paint over it, it might affect the overpainting, so. That's, yeah, that sure is some consumerist dystopia right there. Huh? came to my brain a little bit late, but I don't know how much of like the Hatchetverse stuff you've seen, but I'm pretty sure that one guy is gonna win the toy collector. He's already way ahead of everyone else. It's the Hatchetfield stuff, you know, like Black Friday and the guy who didn't like musicals, and those are my two favorite ones. And Nightmare Time. From Team Star Kid. Yeah, there's this one character who I think the most prominent role he has outside of like the Nightmare Time episode or two was in Black Friday. Because he's a toy collector, and you know, collecting toys is like an important part of that story. It's, yeah. I kind of want to rewatch all of Nightmare Time. I really like the stories in there. This one's going to be slightly thinner, and kind of wondering if I should cut out two more like this, because then they'll all be like the same width because of how I have to trace it. I don't really think it'll matter. I can just put this one on the door and then the other three on the inside. Have to consider that my hands hurt because I've been doing a lot of things that make my hands hurt, so I should try to slightly cut down on things that make my hands hurt. And by that I mean I'm going to keep doing the things that make my hands hurt, but I'll try to do it a little bit more efficiently. Like by not being a perfectionist about something I'm not even getting paid for. I have a deadline to finish this by. I freaking get going. I might just make it like all art streams until I finish this, and then I might have to go house sit for my dad again. So then I might just make that all game streams because I'll be there every night. And then I can just bring one laptop over there. Oh no. Yeah, I hope they find out and are able to recover their account soon. Hmm. Just put those away. Don't know where that little piece of plastic I was using went. I mean, I should have more of those somewhere. Maybe I can go look at the trash real quick and see if there's any more I can use. I guess for now I can at least... come on. Trying to get this one sanded. Umamusume! I guess too much exposure to horse girls is known to have adverse effects on the human psyche. Probably, I think. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Actually, I should say excessive exposure to gacha games is known to have adverse effects on the human psyche. Could it be this sandpaper is too fine grit? You try to just... Okay, I think that's working. There we go. It's clouding up a bit. Go. Yeah, it's more like what I'm going for. Nice. Okay, let me make sure it's not just dust that's on there, though. Okay, it was a bit dusty, but it's still clouding up a bit, which is what I want, so that's good. Rainbow glue sticks? Glue sticks with... what? That's ridiculous. Friggin' glue. Nice. The last one was that, like, body swap scenario, right? That was pretty funny. Right, good. I think I'm also going to do the other side. Good, okay. I'm going to have to sand it down a bit more, but that is getting that sort of look I'm going for. Well, it's still really hard to see from the camera, but in person it's a lot easier to see. Went from having a glossy finish to this sort of soft, cloudy finish. So I think I'm going to cloud that up a little bit more. And then whenever I find my, like, box plastic material like this again, I'm going to cut out another one the same size using my template. And then I'll cloud that one up too and fold it so it looks like it's sitting on the beanbag. I'll probably, like, glue it to the beanbag. I'll have to attach the beanbag somewhere. Oh, I forgot to look for a material that looks like it might make a good rug. because I want to put like a little rug inside the tree house, kind of askew on the floor. Posture check. Ow. Hmm. I could make it slightly more opaque at the top and then sort of fading down. That would be nice. I don't know if I can get that amount of detail, but yay! Definitely easier to see now. I'm still kind of annoyed that I got that little cut right there. But like I said, I'm trying not to hurt my hands too much, so whatever. Now we'll just have to leave it. Maybe I could lean into the little cut and I could like make it look like the ghost is cracked like the windows. That could be spooky. I actually really hate touching sandpaper, no matter how fine of a grit it is. But I have to deal with it because crafting. Sweet, don't die. Heard of way too many stories of people doing like home what's it called? Home chiropractic things essentially, and like causing themselves serious injuries. So please be careful. If anything goes numb, stop. Okay. Okay, that is going down less, I think, so that's good. It's not a huge thing, because this does still have to clear the ground, so that'll be fine. Okay. And I can change my posture so my legs don't fall asleep. I can also start attaching the window frames. Good. Yeah. I realize something that's going to bother me, which is that the freaking, but this thing, they're usually on both sides of the glass to support it. Sure. I don't care about being perfect, I just care about having the details I wanted to have. So it's still going to be a little wonky. That's fine. Ah. Could I just... if I make it out of that, they'll be slightly too small. Actually, I've decided it doesn't matter. Okay. Because I'll just be gluing it onto the other side, so I doubt anyone's going to be looking that closely at the insides. Will not matter. And the face of all the other funky little details I'm putting in there. But it will be cohesive, which is what I want. It's not tall enough, but whatever. Good enough. Sort of smear the glue around. Could look more grungy. Thinking of all the other little things I want to put in here. I definitely need to put some cobwebs, which I can use hot glue for, because hot glue makes its own cobwebs. I haven't tried doing that before, but I don't know, I'll figure it out. Ah. I should put some kind of like little poster for a video game or a band or something. But, like, I want to make it a fictional one. It doesn't need to be trimmed. So like this rush me using tweezers. Actually looking through the other window to try to place this. Go. Let's try it on. Okay. As long as it mostly matches up with the one on the other side, that's good. That's the one. So, yeah. Don't know. Oh, there you are. Hear that glue. Ah, back. Bakushin. Ah. If you're playing games like full screen or something, you can also like use the stream manager screen on like the Twitch app on your phone and just like put it right in front of you. Because it depends on like what your setup is. Since I'm usually like leaning back on my hammock or on the couch or something when playing a game and not like sitting up at a desk, I can usually just like rest my phone against the laptop. It's pretty easy, but I don't know if you'd want like a phone stand or something. A monitor would also be easy to deal with, but like if you have to turn all the way around to look at the monitor, then maybe there's a better way to fit both monitors on your desk. Ah, the heck. Oh, if you have to turn your whole torso, then maybe just like, I guess, angle your torso toward the. Well, I guess it depends on how you're working. Because if you're using a tablet that's connected to the laptop and you need a monitor on another desk, then. I don't like having a little notification noise thing, so I just turn that off, and I always just make it so that I have chat easily seeable, and then sometimes I don't notice anyway. Because I'm paying attention to things. But I kind of prioritize doing the thing I'm doing over chat anyway. Like, the stream ain't affiliated, so. Don't have to feel like I'm working for no one. I do understand wanting to make sure that you engage with people, though, because you are affiliated. You want to be, like, making sure that you can see them and interact with people quickly. Check chats and reply to things. Every time I think of affiliating, I'm like, but the weird little teenagers who hang out on my stream wouldn't be able to send me copyrighted stuff that I later have to remove on YouTube when I throw it onto my, like, archive dump account. And also I'd have to show people ads. Like, I know we're all used to ads, but I hate ads. So I think maybe I will never affiliate. If I ever have to ask anyone for money doing this, I'll frickin' link my Ko-fi or something. Ah, okay. Yeah, I guess if you're, like, turned toward one so you can focus on the writing, and then you have to, like, turn all the way around to see the other, then ow. Yeah, weird little teenagers plus one Cheska. Occasionally other folks. I always kind of imagine you as just, like, an ageless little guy wearing, like, a gas mask and an overcoat, working in the postal mines. Hmm. Yeah, I really like Theremin Trees' videos. Because he's a guy who went through like a lot of abusive nonsense in his life and then became a counselor, so he like studies and examines the things and uses his own personal anecdotes to describe like different like therapy and psychology things, which I'm sure you understand by now, but like that is why I like his stuff. Oh yeah, humans are a social species. It's like people who eh, don't bend to peer pressure and stuff like that tend to have something kind of wrong with them. And I'm not saying everyone submit to peer pressure immediately, but like, you know, it's like an ingrained sort of thing to want to be accepted by other people. Like, as a related note, I do actually like seeing like the videos and stuff people send, but sometimes there are some like days when I'm just like, I don't care, or I'm watching something in the background, but I don't want to be like rude, you know? I don't want to push off my bad day onto other people, so I'm like, okay, whatever. And usually I end up enjoying the videos, but yeah, if I didn't care what anyone thought, I probably wouldn't be streaming. But yeah, please keep sending the fun videos. I do like them. Okay, I finally got all those in place. So that's good, because now when the light shines off the inside and the outside, it'll break at that like little window brace thing and look more like an actual window. Even if they're getting all gunky. Oh, cool. Yeah, because he also had like a kind of an abusive, hyper-religious household. He was growing out of that too, huh? Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I really like her sense of humor. Okay, I want to work on putting a base sort of coat on the roof now. I'm gonna get this like shiny silver color, but I think I want it to be kind of dull because I want it to look like a tin roof. But I want it to look dulled with age. There's still a little bit of brown paint in here, but whatever, that'll just give it rust and character. Gonna get like a little glob of this. That guy's a bit much. Stretch my neck. Okay. Oh. Hope that person's doing okay. I don't know if I can safely get that with the other side of the brush, so I'm just gonna scoop some up there. Maybe a little less. Titanium white is pretty powerful. Okay. Okay, it's a bit too dry, but too gunky. Come on. Ah. Mm. Do kind of like it when people are cranky. I usually think it's kind of charming. Unless they're, like, you know, just annoying, kind of cranky, but get some of that in there. Rust the color down a little bit. Okay, I'm probably gonna need more paint. I don't want a bunch of paint builds up on the back of the brush and gets, like, doesn't get mixed. Yeah, there we go. There was a bunch of white hiding in there. Okay, I think I want a little bit more black and white there. Hats. Dang it. Whoops, use the wrong side. Try to. Ah. Well, I'll just add more of the other paints if I have to, and hopefully not raccoon eye myself into a corner. Ah. One of those old interpersonal regrets where you're like, I was kind of a jackass, maybe. Whoops. I'm out of contact with that person. Whoops. Okay, I think that's pretty good. We could actually go a little bit darker. I think at this point I can just put like a drop of this in here. Come on. More of the base. Even everything out. Yeah, like I want a shiny gray, but not too shiny, but not too gray, but also not too dark, but also not too light, but also not too gray. But more gray. Now, well, it probably does not even matter. That'd be really cool if one day you got to see her name on a book somewhere, or an article or something, or just published online or whatever. Ugh. My foot started falling asleep. Mm. I think I know the stereotype, but I'm not entirely sure. sort of like a real grumpy, no-nonsense kind of person, or someone who's kind of frank and crass and like maybe a little too honest or something like that? Yeah, I think I really don't like that stereotype of like because I've never really been interested in marriage unless it was like the event itself, which I think the pretty dresses and the decorations and the flowers were all very nice. But like I always thought that freaking marriage stuff is so weird because it's like everyone is supposed to aspire to marriage no matter what, but then you're supposed to absolutely hate your spouse. You're supposed to fucking hate them. And I'm like, why? Isn't it supposed to be about like love and trust or whatever? But all the media was like, oh, I'm stuck with this fucking ball and chain of a wife who I hate. And she hates me because, you know, like, oh, I'm stuck with this lazy man child, which honestly, the more I see go on, it seems kind of more realistic. But, and it's like, no, one is just like, you know, it's like, oh, I have this ball busting shrew of a wife, and it'll just be like, bro, she's abusive. She's abusive, and you need to leave her. But when the woman is abusive, it's always shown as the man's fault. Like, oh, he's whipped or whatever, and he needs to put that bitch in her place or whatever. And it's never like, man, you deserve better than that. She is treating you cruelly and you need to leave. It's always seen as you should be more of a man and man up. Or oh, that's just how women are. They're so demanding. You just have to be conciliatory and then you can go cheat on her while her back's turned or whatever. I'm like, why does it have to be so toxic? That's ridiculous. I watched a whole really good video essay about hetero-nihilism as the lesbian host called it. I think she's I can't remember, lesbian bi, something like that. As the not straight host called it. Just doing like a commentary on that sort of like, why are straight couples supposed to hate each other kind of thing. And I could link that if you want someone to ramble about it in a much better written kind of way that makes more sense. Yeah. Like, there's always some sympathy for, like, the abused wife and stuff like that, which is good. But there's also, like, ever since I was a little kid, there was the stereotype of, oh, he hurts you because he loves you. He wouldn't hit anyone else except for you. And it's like, no, that's fucked up. I don't think he loves you. Girl, leave. But, you know, within a certain span of time that even went into, like, our parents' time, women weren't even necessarily allowed to have bank accounts or own property, so... It's like, leave him and lose your financial independence and also possibly be tracked down and killed, depending on how bad the abuse is. Or suffer the abuse and still have shelter and a roof over your head and, you know, be able to take care of your children and all that. Fucking pop-ups. Remember when pop-ups were like a problem? Yeah. I think when they finally did get divorced, I was like, yay! Good for them, honestly. Well, good for Beth. Jerry was kind of a baby about it, but... maybe it was good for him, too. He needed a reality check. Yeah, divorce is one of the best things to happen for everyone. Like, each spouse and the children involved and everyone, instead of people forcing each other to stay together. even if they hated each other. That's just bad for everyone. Oh, it was Shanspeare who did that one. Yeah. Yeah, I always thought that was so weird how, like, straight people are supposed to absolutely fucking hate each other, but are also, like, socially obligated by everyone to get married by a certain age and produce kids and do the same thing. It's like, clearly that is making people miserable, actually. And it's stupid, so, like, why? Heck. Put a tiny bit of water in this to refresh it just enough. That's good. I haven't seen, like, the full series of Rick and Morty. I don't know if it's still going. But yeah, I hope Jerry uses it a chance to, like, get more responsible and grow up a little bit and be more serious. God, there's this show I really want to watch after seeing, like, someone ramble about it for paragraphs and paragraphs on Tumblr, but it's called Kevin Can Fuck Himself. And it's like half and half I think I made that a bit too dark, but that's okay. I think I'm gonna paint over it with a bit more white in the paint. Ish. I mean, possibly being a douchebag defies gender. Ah. Ow, 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 ow. Ugh. Yeah, I really want to watch Kevin Can Fuck Himself. It's apparently like it starts out and has the facade of, like, one of those love and marriage type shows where it's like the world-weary, tired, long-suffering wife and her goofball husband who's just so silly. And she has to put up with his antics all the time, and then it, like, switches to her perspective, and it becomes, like, this tense, dark psychological drama about how she's trapped in this marriage and she's miserable, having to deal with this guy who is like another child to her instead of a loving spouse. That's what I hear anyway. And I'm like, ooh. Commentary on tropes that I hate. Fascinating. Did I add too much black again? I don't know, let's see. I'm gonna have to add a bit more white. And I accidentally mixed the same exact tone somehow. How did I do that? Okay. Weird. Bit more white. Learn that I do. Good, I'm wearing pajamas I don't care too much about. Learn that I don't really have to care too much about adding tiny bits of this because the white is not as powerful as I thought in this mixture. Usually titanium white just kind of obliterates everything in its path. Go. Okay, yeah. I have to see if that's streaming on something or if I have to Yarhar it. Yeah, I really like Mrs. Doubtfire too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very carefully go along the edges and try to make it look like it's metal on the inside too. Ah, too much paint. Oh well. That's fine. Ah. Mm, 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 ah, mm. Yeah, she probably just did that adjustment thing where it's like, maybe it'll be fine, maybe it'll get better. Maybe he'll mellow out with age or something like a frickin' cat. Actually, I kind of really like how that looks with just like a quick brushing over the top, so it definitely mixed like way too much paint. Fucking whoops. To do like a brown wash over this to get the paint to look like it's running naturally down the sides from rust. And I already tore up this side a little bit more because I was like, well, because the little ridges are horizontal, that means they're going to hold on to water more and they're going to have a lot more rust spots. So I might also be able to simulate that by doing a wash. Okay, now I just have too much of this. I kind of just sort of... Oh, I just remembered I can actually use this on the frickin' bottoms. Okay, be careful here. I have a tiny little bit of the paper under here. Oh. Some people are assholes forever. Like, I realized a long time ago that my dad is just insane, and is probably just gonna keep being insane forever. I just wasn't able to get out of there because I'm sick, don't have a job, and I know I wouldn't be able to hold the job because I'm sick. So it took a while to finally be able to leave, but I'm very happy that I'm living with my friends now. I still go over there to help him with stuff, because I need money and he gives me money for things and my dog lives over there. But not having to live with a guy is so nice. There's like no place you could live in this city unless you want to live in your car if you want to keep your pet with you. Ugh. Oh, cool. Control C. Nice. The fans like, our favorite thing did it better. And they're right. And they should say it. Oh, right. Thank you.
No, but
No, damn it. Come on.
before I even start, I have to say that the director Emerald Fennell and I have already had a bit of a rocky beginning. The harshest review I have ever written on Letterboxd was one of her movie Promising Young Woman, and while I didn't hate Saltburn nearly as much, I tend to think that while it certainly looks cool sometimes, it has about as much substance as cotton candy washed by a raccoon. But in saying all of that, I did everything I could to go into the Wuthering Heights movie without any preconceived notions, starting with a blank slate, and...
What was that?
Hi everybody, it's Lavender Town. This is my series By the Book, where I take a look at how movie adaptations change book characters and then draw them exactly as they were originally described. Today's subject is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I had already read this book, but for the video I read it again, tagging every time a detail on a character's appearance was mentioned. And I have to say, some of the changes made here were absolutely deranged in my opinion, so I can't wait to get into them. Let's start with Heathcliff.
A white man? No!
Like a lot of people, I was a little confused by Jacob Elordi being cast as Heathcliff. I thought at first that maybe I had headcanoned him as a darker-skinned character, but when I reread, it's extremely clearly stated that he has dark skin, and they refer to him as something that I can't even say because it's a slur, but this is very early in the book. On page 10, it describes him as a dark-skinned, in aspect, in dress and manners a gentleman. As well as shortly after describing him as having an erect and handsome figure, if rather morose. As a child, when he's first brought into the family by Catherine's father, he is described as a dirty, black-haired child, big enough both to walk and talk, but that he only stared round and repeated over and over again some gibberish that nobody could understand.
Fucking
So
Romanian?
this was obviously one of the biggest controversies of the movie. People noticed even before it came out that Heathcliff was going to look a little bit different than he probably did in the book. On page 66, we get an even more explicit discussion of how he feels kind of othered because of his race and how he looks. When he's talking
Yeah,
to
he would be in
Nellie,
a
his
story
kind
from
of
that time,
caretaker,
place.
about how he wishes he had light hair and fair skin the way that Edgar does. And she responds basically by saying that he's handsome, handsome enough to be a prince in disguise. And then she says, "Who knows, but your father was Emperor of China and your mother an Indian queen." So she's basically trying to cheer him up by saying that even though he's not white, it's possible that he came from some sort of like nobility and he doesn't have to feel so bad about this aspect of himself. It's honestly like a really sweet
Aw.
scene.
It seems like it
and
would be
makes me
pretty
even
important to
madder
the
that
character
Nellie's whole
then.
personality is completely changed to make her conniving and evil for some reason in
Oh,
the
wow.
movie. But that's something to talk about later in the video. Heathcliff's eyes, brow, and hair are all described as black many times in the book. As for his hairstyle, both as a child and as an adult, people comment on its length. On page 67, Mr. Linton refers to it as being like a colt's mane over his eyes. He's described as handsome by multiple characters, including Nellie, as I have said, and on page 104, he's again described as a tall man dressed in dark clothes with dark face and hair. On page 105, we get a pretty good description of his face. A ray fell on his features, the cheeks were sallow and half covered with black whiskers, the brows lowering, the eyes deep-set and singular. His body type ranges from sort of lanky and possibly a little skinny in his youth to developing into a more broad, athletic build after he returns, particularly in
Does sound a
contrast
lot
to,
like
again, the
Wimco
more
Heathcliff.
waifish and doll-like Edgar. His teeth later on in the book are described as white and sharp, or cannibal-like, so I'll try to include that as well. Later in the book, his facial expression is often described as sneering or sarcastic. So now that we have a lot of his appearance details nailed down, I want to talk about why these changes are really upsetting people, and why it matters with this particular story. Upon rereading it, it was even clearer to me that Heathcliff being not white is kind of a huge part of the story. The way others treat him is massively impacted by this. He's silent when he's first brought to the house in the movie, but in the book he's actually speaking another language, terrified and unable to communicate. They say that he's repeating the same sounds over and over, so he's clearly saying a word. He doesn't just hate the Lintons because Edgar is stealing his girl, he hates them because they treat him like a criminal, even though between the always mischievous Catherine and the downright sadistic Hindley, who wasn't even in the movie, he was at the time the most well-behaved child at the house. He says out loud as a young teen that he wishes he had Edgar's blue eyes, pale skin, and opportunity for wealth. Like, these themes are not subtle or implied, they're said blatantly in the text of the book, so I don't really understand how it got missed or treated as something that's not important in the film. And honestly, I personally do not like this change in the movie. It really removes a lot of his depth as a character. I understand that Emerald Fennell wanted to capture how it felt reading the book as a 14-year-old, but it feels
Oh,
a
it's
little
just a
strange
kid they
to see a
found, huh?
2026 adaptation that is actually less daring, transgressive, and socially brave than its original text in the 1800s. This book was really shocking when it came out, and I think that's part of why it has stuck around and left such an impact. So it kind of bums me out to see a version that feels so toothless. The other thing that made Heathcliff feel shallower is the changing of him from a character who genuinely does monstrous things in the name of revenge and grief to a wet, sad-eyed Fabio sort of character, always on the back of a horse for some reason. Kathy and Heathcliff in the movie come off as classic star-crossed lovers,
What?
but their story is actually a lot messier than that. And to really get into that, we have to talk about the changes to Kathy. So I actually have a lot to say about Catherine's personality changes between the movie and the book, but let's start with appearance. Unlike Heathcliff, Catherine is actually visually described quite a bit less. We first get a little description of her on page 79 where it says,
You guys be like,
a
what?
wild, wicked
Did you
slip.
just find a
She had
child?
the bonniest eye, the sweetest smile, and the lightest
Dad,
foot
did you
in the
see if
parish.
their
We
parents
get
were
more
around,
visual
Dad?
information on page 61 where it says, instead of a wild, hatless little savage jumping into the house and rushing to squeeze us all breathless, there lighted a very dignified person, with brown ringlets falling from the cover of a feathered beaver, and a long cloth habit, which she was obliged to hold up with both hands that she might sail in. Later on that same page, her outfit is described in detail as a grand plaid silk frock, white trousers, and burnished shoes. I'll draw her in this since it's one of her most detailed in the book. This is right after she returns from her first stay
think
with
I
the
did
Linton
make it a
family,
bit too
and the
dull,
pivot
so I think I'm
point
gonna,
from
like,
which she goes from a feral child with Heathcliff to someone who might have a chance to join capital
gonna try to,
S
like,
society.
Dry
On page
brush
62, we
some of
see her pull
the
off her gloves,
plain
and
shiny
it is mentioned
silver
that her hands are
the
whitened from doing nothing
over
and
the top.
staying indoors. We learn more about her complexion on page 81, where her ears turn red with rage. It's mentioned that she gets quite flushed when she's angry. On page 88, it is revealed
Still
that she
happy
is
at how
22 and she's
satisfyingly that
married, so
closes.
that is around the age I'll draw her as.
Yay! It even
We
clicks.
also learn her eye color on page 207, as it says that the Earnshaws, her family, have handsome dark eyes. So overall, her coloration seems to be pale skin with red tones, brown eyes, and ringlets of brown hair. I'll be drawing her as her wild child self as well as her grown-up form. We have to talk now about how they changed her personality. In the book, Linton is scared of her mood swings and her temper. The first thing she does to Heathcliff is spit on him. And her reaction oftentimes when someone is rightfully angry with her or calling her out for doing something wrong is to either lie straight to their face and say she didn't do what she just did, threaten to cry until she throws up, or threaten to kill herself, which is pretty toxic behavior, honestly,
What
and
a
not
horrible little
represented
kid.
at all in the Catherine of the movie, who's this very, like, generally, like, pretty delicate, waifish, generally pretty honest and kind and forthcoming, more tearful than angry. It just doesn't feel like her. She's such a messy, chaotic character in the book, and she's really not represented at all in this
Jerry and
movie.
Beth are just kind
The
of
costuming got a lot of criticism because Kathy's costumes
more
in
mild,
particular
really.
are very noticeably not time period accurate.
But yeah, yeesh.
The worst offender being her wedding night dress, a shimmery, shiny, polyester-looking dress that looks more 2010s prom dress than something that would be possible to obtain at the turn of the 19th century.
I gotta grab something real quick on. Hold on. Oh god, ow. I had to do some stretches. Can't speak without wailing or crying. Oh dang. Battle Whale. Nice. They do have some really good voice actors in Limbus Company. They're great stuff.
The book doesn't go into her clothes too specifically,
Really
but
put
it's
emotion
safe to
into
say
their
that she
stuff.
would not be wearing something like the costumes that she's wearing in the movie.
This is like the
For me
softest
personally, they're
brush
so
I have
far
right now.
off
It's
from
kind of
something that's
small, so I'm hoping it'll be
realistically,
okay for dry
hysterical
brushing.
that I don't mind it as much, and it feels more like deliberate style. I'm honestly way more bothered by the like Dyson Airwrap soft
It's a bit
curl
much.
that her completely artificial honey blonde hair is always in. That look is so like influencer coded to me. I really think it's gonna date this movie like crazy in the future. And at least with the costumes, it seems like there was some kind of vision there that was very stylized, whereas the hair just seems like a boring, like, this is what's conventionally attractive right now type decision. And I think it has no place on Kathy's head. I would really love to hear explained why the appearance of Kathy and Isabella were kind of reversed. It stands to reason that Kathy would not be as well groomed and prim and proper and naive as someone like Isabella. And yet Isabella she's more like frizzy haired, she's brunette, she's sort of like coded as this like awkward, socially inept character. Even though she is like natively born into society, whereas Kathy has had to fight and struggle and grew up kind of feral on the moors, covered in dirt with Heathcliff. It's really weird that she's the one who's like so glossy and looks like a queen as soon as she's brought into the Lintons' home. And it's weird to make her blonde when she was brunette, and Isabella vice versa. But
I've
we're
been
going to talk
seeing
more
people
about that
complain
as we
about the
get
Wuthering
into
Heights movie,
Edgar
but I hadn't
and
read
the
it, so
changes to the Linton family.
like, I don't know anything about
Edgar
it.
in the book is first
I understand more
described in the
about why they're so
context of
pissed
his
now.
family. The Lintons are actually
And
introduced
also the Project
much
Moon fan.
earlier, and Catherine and Heathcliff kind of grow up alongside Isabella and Edgar.
Really
That was an
misrepresented the
exchange that I
characters.
really also didn't like. But anyway, the Lintons are described on page 59 as having vacant blue eyes by Heathcliff. Edgar is often compared to Heathcliff, such as on page 65, where Nellie tells Heathcliff that Edgar Linton shall look quite a doll beside you, and that he does. You are younger, and yet, I'll be bound, you are taller and twice as broad across the shoulders. We already know that he is pale and blonde due to the way that Heathcliff described the whole family, and his face is often described as fair and youthful. The child Catherine and he have later on is described as having the Lintons'
Baby-faced
fair skin
boy.
and small features and yellow curling hair. We can presume that many of these traits are also shared by her father. He's also said to resemble Linton, the confusingly named child of Heathcliff and Isabella, who is described as a pale,
Linton?
delicate, effeminate boy. Strangely, it's Edgar who ends up being cast as a darker-skinned actor, which all but guarantees that the Lintons no longer represent the blonde, blue-eyed, white upper class who distrust and shun Heathcliff for his appearance. All the tension that comes from high society's racism is removed from the movie by casting Edgar and Heathcliff this way. The fact that Edgar and Isabella aren't blood relatives and don't look alike also makes it a little less obvious why Heathcliff marries and torments Isabella. He outright states in the book that he'll torment her until he can get his hands on her brother. Personality-wise, movie Edgar is also pretty different. In the book, Catherine spends a good deal of time with the Linton family, and she doesn't really spend a lot of quality time with him that we see in the movie. Edgar is really delicate in the book. Edgar in the movie becomes pretty harsh to Catherine when he suspects her infidelity, but often in the book it's clear that Edgar is actually afraid of Catherine's outbursts, and when she blows up around him, he will tremble and turn pale.
Oh,
Edgar in the movie has much more of a backbone, and he also dotes on her a little less. In the book, there is more of an understanding of why Catherine might want to actually marry him. She has the conversation with Ellen where she describes the benefits marrying him would bring, but you also get the sense that she does genuinely have a fondness for his gentle spirit and the world that he's a part of. She also blatantly wants a husband that would benefit her own vanity.
yeah,
During
from
that
the era
conversation,
where
it's clear that she believes she
choosing
can
who to
marry
marry as a
him
husband
and
was
still
more
always
like
be
a
with Heathcliff.
financial,
My read
legal,
on
and social
Edgar
move.
overall from reading the book was always
Which
that
it can still be,
he
but it was like
isn't
really,
a malicious
really
character.
like that.
He doesn't cause anyone any suffering on purpose, but he comes from a world where he was so sort of sheltered from real hardship that he can't really understand the way that Heathcliff or even Kathy really feel. And that's part of the reason as well that she doesn't feel right with Edgar when you're reading it. You get the sense that she's always trying to act correct for his world that he's from, but she and Heathcliff actually understand each other, and that's part of why they feel drawn together, I think. They have shared experiences that her husband could never understand. And while we're talking about the Linton family, we have to talk about what happened to Isabella in this adaptation. So I mentioned before that Heathcliff gets Isabella's permission explicitly to use her to get to Kathy in the movie. In the
it's
book,
bad
she
when someone describes
genuinely
it as
elopes
what happened
with
to the
him,
character.
thinking that he will love and care for her, only to find herself trapped in his house, getting verbally and physically abused. In the movie, Isabella is Mr. Linton's ward and is sort of frizzy-haired and geeky and awkward. When we first see her, she's overanalyzing Romeo and Juliet in detail to Edgar, who is visibly falling asleep because he doesn't care. I honestly think Emerald Fennell wrote this in and changed Isabella to be a stand-in for people like myself, who care about the themes in the book and were likely to take issue with her adaptation. And if she thinks writing in a scene of a frizzy-haired, socially inept girl overanalyzing a book is going to stop me from doing the same thing, she is sorely mistaken. Seriously though, Isabella's character is absolutely butchered in this adaptation in a way that I actually think is pretty inappropriate. In the book, she's Edgar's sister, and she actually has more in common with movie Kathy than movie Kathy has in common with book Kathy.
Oh, jeez.
She's blonde, delicate, sweet, and naive. She's younger and I think implied to be considered more beautiful than Kathy, but Heathcliff doesn't have any interest in her because his bond with Kathy goes a lot deeper than appearances. She also seems a little less naive in the movie, seeming to agree to that bizarre kinky relationship in place of the actual abusive marriage she experiences as a teenager in the book, which I have to say, I know this is a loose adaptation with Charlie XCX on the soundtrack. I know it doesn't have to be super accurate, but to me personally, this change feels really tasteless. So now that we have our book accurate main cast drawn, I want to talk about the other big changes that were made in the movie to the story in general and not just to the characters. So this movie has a lot of sex scenes in it. Heathcliff and Kathy hook up a ton. I honestly have no problem with this kind of content in movies. A lot of my favorite films and stories have explicit content in them as integral parts of the story. But I think this was a huge mistake in this story in particular because
They have to tear that off
the
and put it
yearning and
back.
tension between these two is completely broken by these scenes. Them having a steamy physical affair feels extremely less interesting than them constantly orbiting each other, painfully drawn to each other but unable to act on it. I thought that the other sexual content in the whole movie felt like it was more for shock value than anything else, and I don't know if I've just seen too many David Cronenberg movies, but they weren't even that shocking. It felt forced, and it definitely destroyed the yearning tension that runs through the book. Like, I think this scene where Heathcliff and Kathy secretly hold hands at her father's funeral in the movie was definitely designed to give, like, the hand touch scene from Pride and Prejudice, but it totally flops because at this point I believe they've already gone beyond holding hands. I also think that doing race-blind casting on a story that is in large part about the damage that racism does to a young person and the people who love them is crazy, and I wish they had not done that. I feel like she just saw the success of Bridgerton and was like, oh, I'll do that too. But it's a very different vibe on source material like this. I actually personally didn't mind the weird visuals. I thought sometimes the costumes were actually extremely ridiculous and took me out of the movie, but some of them were actually pretty fun. I was honestly more annoyed by the Dyson Airwrap honey blonde hair that I mentioned. I feel like that's gonna date the movie. I really don't like it. That's my biggest gripe with like the costuming. The amping up of the gothic horror visuals on the sets were not a bad choice. I don't really get why button-down Edgar would ask someone to airbrush her skin, veins and all, on her bedroom walls, but it was certainly interesting, and I think the scene with the leeches on her face and splayed around her head was definitely visually striking. Ultimately for me, the biggest and worst change other than the whitewashing of Heathcliff is the way that Kathy and Heathcliff are changed as characters. It seems very clear to me that Emerald Fennell wanted to make a version of this story where Kathy and Heathcliff are essentially morally good. They never really do anything wrong. They have misunderstandings, moments of weakness, but ultimately they just do not represent or are not even similar to the characters that are very interesting and memorable in the book. So though they upped the amount of like sex scenes, they took away a lot of the shocking violence that is in the source material. Heathcliff becomes a character who is frighteningly violent. When he discovers that Kathy has died, he doesn't just cry about it, he starts smashing his head and his fists into the tree that's nearby. He's like bleeding and screaming. He also is horrifically violent to Isabella. She leaves that relationship bruised, scratched, and pregnant, and you know, the implications of that are pretty horrific. We also
Jesus.
see him almost kill another character. And this scene is so graphic. Like, the way it's described with him, like, drawing the knife up this person's arm, and then as soon as he gets him on the ground, he starts smashing his head against the flagstones.
Yeah, that's
You genuinely think he's going to kill this person.
interesting. She turned into
This is the
BDSM.
Heathcliff of the book. And a lot of this is revealed after Kathy's death. And I think that's why the movie cuts off there, because it's not really interested in Heathcliff, like,
That is
who
one of
he
the best
ultimately
things.
is,
Especially
who he
for, like,
becomes through his grief. He also does things
the more
like
obscure
dig up
things that you
Kathy.
like, where it's like,
He
there's
is
no
haunted
official
by her.
merch.
She is
Or
haunting him through the
there is
rest of
official
the book,
merch, but it's like
and
40
it's
years
making him
old.
actually go crazy.
And it's really expensive on the
He
internet.
wants to crawl into her coffin with her. That's the type
It's
of
like, oh,
yearning
wait,
that
I can
is in
draw
the
my
actual
own.
book. And I genuinely don't think you could read it and then watch the movie and think that the movie
Or sew
really
your own, or
captures the
embroider it, or
intensity
paint it, or
that the
whatever.
book has going on, which I think is just such a waste.
You can make
The
your
experience
own.
of reading the book is
That was a bit too
drawing
much.
the reader to really fall in love with Heathcliff.
I'm trying to
and
mix
really
gold
want
and copper
him
to get
find
brass,
some sense of happiness,
so
and
I
then
can
watch
paint the
him turn
doorknob.
into somebody through trauma and tragedy that does things that are indefensible and unforgivable. And I think that's sort of an emotional arc that isn't possible when you are committed to writing stories where the protagonists only do good things, or their mistakes are based on misunderstandings or very simple mistakes. Like, I can't speak for everyone who read this book, but for me, through both readings, I strongly was rooting for Heathcliff and Kathy early in the story when they're children, seeing kind of what they've survived and their unshakable bond, and then to see both of them, particularly Heathcliff, transform into like these basically unforgivable characters. It's a really complicated, intense feeling that you have as a reader, and obviously the movie has none of that.
Sounds pretty interesting, actually. I may actually read the book.
Unlikable characters. At the end of the day, most people who read the book really hated this movie, and a lot of the people who didn't read it seemed to kind of like it. I honestly think it would have been better to just make this its own original story, as I think it's so loose in its adaptation that it doesn't really gain anything by being attached to one of the most beloved and complicated pieces of classic literature of the 19th century.
Seriously.
It seems the Emerald Fennell version wanted more sympathetic main characters, a totally different ending, different themes, a physical affair instead of yearning, and costumes with modern fabrics. When you look at all of that, it seems more hindered by its source material than helped by it.
I think I saw a video by Bernadette Banner roasting the fashion in the movie because she's a historical costumer.
I'd love to hear if you love the movie, what you loved about it, and if you're a fan of the book, let me know what your feelings are about it. It is a really intense read, and so I would love to talk to you guys about it. Thanks so much for watching till the end, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you to my wonderful members and patrons, including Stefan, Stavo the Gremlin,
cool,
Roger Baker,
I do
Artist
like
James, Esme and
Victorian
Riley, Mr. Beasley,
prose.
Glubby Wubby, Arugi, Meow 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 Meow, Sea Nerd, Bowl of Soup, Lorena, Mimi Mamori, Frog Scourge, Zachary Smith, Pale Star
course they
Poppy,
kept the head bashing
Shinani,
in.
Celery
They love
Sticks, The Mousy
violence.
Mouse, Zora Eyes, Burnt Toast with Bleach, Sopapia, Hitchol,
Cool, that sounds
Rex,
fun.
Lonely Purple Zealot, Honey Kitten, Loro, Data, Gashes to Gashes, Skitten, Gold Pikachu, Donut Oat, John Steele, Names Are Gone, Crow Dotus, Sunday Good Enough, Ace Wander, Jordy Plays, Clown of Clubs, Sunshine, River to Goblin, Raz
Would
Tarosh,
love to
Casey,
do
Graveyard
a
Moss, Grexius, Kingdom Hearts
Some
Sucks,
Away Mommy
The Midwestern Menace,
doll mod
Phoebe,
someday,
Lucy
'cause I think her
Yamajuki,
outfit's really
Ravenscrow,
cute.
Ocelot, Jabber Dabber Doo, Light Jewel,
Not because she
Kadaria,
has
The
guns.
Expressive Poker Face, Tsubaki, Cutie Pie, Ice Cream Pal, Cola, JJ Jade, and of
At
course,
the
blah, 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 blah.
at the doll expo this year, there's like a local doll group that puts on doll expos, and they're really fun. There was someone who had a bunch of like a GI Joe weaponry, and I was like, God, it'd be so funny to make like a super cutesy character and give her a bunch of guns. And then I was like, wait, mommy, mommy Madoka Magica, she has a lot of guns. Yes. Mm-hmm. Trying to like lazily darken that a bit. Not super working, but it's getting a little bit. Just trying to like dull the shine. This is not the brush for it. I should go with the other brushes out. Or I could stubbornly keep using this brush, whatever. Some speckles on there. I'll go back later and put some rusty speckles. I might have to repaint that, but whatever. Work on that later. Okay. Right. Got that washed. I think I'll, where did the... There it is. Fell over. I think I'll put more of this paint on here. Just to sort of make the window stand out a little bit, maybe. Although, I guess I can make them look similar to the background stuff. Like, even when I just, even when I just, like, put a wash over these ones, they kind of blend in more. So it'll just look like it's made all out of the same wood, and then I can go back in later with a wash and do some, like, shading and stuff and make it look like it has more dimension. Oh. Good idea reminding me, because I might forget. That was one of Shanspeare's videos. I still haven't replaced the keyboard on this laptop, so every time I type in N, I have to pull up the on-screen keyboard and click N. Okay, Shanspeare. Oh, this one looks interesting too. She did a video about Manic Pixie Dream Girls. I'm not subscribed to her on FreeTube yet, so... Okay, let women eat flesh, cannibalism in fiction. Where's... Okay, let me... Oh, Short Spear. Okay, I guess that's where she does shorts. Let me... Videos... Yeah, Sabrina Carpenter's Glamorous World of Heteropessimism. Copy, link... I'll just... this is closer, so I'll just, like... The video is 39 whole minutes long, and I've already been on for 2.5 hours, which I didn't realize, so I won't play it here, but I think it's a good video. She talks about, the sort of, like, heteropessimism, heteronihilism idea, essentially, through the lens of, like, pop music. I do actually like some Sabrina Carpenter songs, because they're fun, they're catchy, they're pop. I also like Lana Del Rey and stuff like that. Like, their music, anyway. But it is always interesting to, I think it's interesting to analyze the stuff you're into and try to think about the themes behind it and things like that. Okay, I got a lot of progress on painting this and adding the little things and stuff. I just, like, blew out some dust in the corner, and, like, a whole bunch of cat hair just flew right into my face. Okay. Nice. Yeah, I should sign off for now and go clean up in the kitchen and do some big stretches. No, I think I'm probably going to keep working on this. I just have to keep an eye on the time because I'm trying to adjust my sleep schedule. I'm not doing a very good job at adjusting my sleep schedule, but I swear I'm trying. I know I should sleepy time. Where's my phone? I can set an alarm. I can also set an alarm on my little watch thing. I set an alarm again. I primarily use this thing to monitor my heart rate because I was having some issues with my heart rate a while ago. but it has an alarm feature, which is also very nice. I haven't played Minecraft in forever. What are you? Can I delete you? Hold on. Delete. Delete. Okay. I'm gonna set one for like 1:30 a.m. Because usually I go to bed between like, I'll go to bed at like 2 and wake up around 10. That's like 8 hours-ish, right? Yeah. So I'll set a time for 1:30 a.m., which is in like an hour and a half, and that should give me enough time to clean up the kitchen and also change out this paint water and clean these brushes, and then I'll come back and paint the inner things, and maybe I will work on this. It would be hard to work on this on stream anyway, because I'm gonna have to be like all close up to this. Okay. No prob. As usual, take care of yourselves. Drink your waters and check your check your postures and do a stretch, and maybe get a heat pack for your wrist and find a good stopping point. Good luck changing your sleep schedule. Get the good sleepy time so you can change your sleep schedule. Okay, bye-bye. Good night.